Do you want to break 80 so you can become a single-digit handicap golfer and shoot in the 70s more often? If so, you need to follow these 7 rules, and do not skip number 7, as it will have a massive impact in your ability to break 80 consistently. Hey, my name is Michael Leonard, a +2 handicap golfer, mental golf coach, and the creator of Wicked Smart Golf. So I've had a long journey in this game, and I really want to help you break 80 consistently, and you have to follow these 7 rules. When you do, I am confident that you are going to shoot in the 70s more than you thought possible, but you have to actually stick with them. So let's get into these rules. The first rule is to play the right equipment. You need a custom fitting if you're serious about breaking 80. Most golfers overlook this crucial step and are making a hard game even more difficult. We need to make sure that our club heads, the shafts, the lie angles, everything is set up for your unique swing. If you're trying to play stuff that is off the rack, it's just gonna make the game even more difficult. But when you do a custom fitting, you can quickly make sure that your current equipment is good to go, or know if you need to maybe make a few upgrades, change some clubs out, so that way you're setting yourself up for success with all 14 clubs in the bag. Rule number 2 is to hit driver more often. You'll hear a lot of pros talk about, I really want to play aggressively off the tee and a little bit more conservatively into the greens. Far too often golfers think, hey, I'm just going to hit 3-wood, I'm going to play it safe, I'm going to get one in the fairway. It makes sense in theory, but the numbers show otherwise. Golf Monthly actually found that 5 handicaps, which are well above the everyday golfer, found that they only hit 3% more fairways with their 3-wood than with their driver. It was 49% with driver, 52% with 3-wood. So you know what? If you're taking 3-wood all the time, you're gonna be a lot further back, you're not gonna be hitting a lot more fairways, and you're gonna make breaking 80 a lot more difficult. So hit driver, play one shot shape, and you're gonna find a lot more success off the tee. The third rule to break 80 consistently is to stop trying to make putts. Don't get me wrong, I want you to make every single putt you look at, but when you're over it saying, I really have to make this putt, I need to make this putt, it's easy to get frustrated, it's easy to put too much emphasis on that putt, and a lot of times usually hinders your performance. So instead of saying, I have to make this putt, say to myself, I have to stick to my pre-shot routine. If you don't have a putting routine, you need one. It is one of the few habits that all elite players, both amateurs and professionals, have in common, and it's gonna set you up for success on every single putt. So make sure that you're sticking to your routine and letting the results happen. If you focus on your routine and you actually pick a line and you go through your entire process, you're a lot more likely to make the putt and break 80 consistently. The fourth rule to break 80 consistently is to develop a pre-shot routine for your full game. Yes, you need one for your short game as well, but we need to make sure we have one for our full swings. Far too many amateur golfers have no routine, and then they wonder why they have no consistency on the course. A routine is like your little bubble out there. It is your time to make sure you're analyzing the shot, picking the right club, visualizing the shot, and then walking into it with confidence. Not to mention, a good routine can also help avoid bad habits like aiming too far to the right or having some negative thoughts over the golf ball. When you have a good routine, you have a set process, step by step, you know exactly what you're supposed to do. If something feels off, then you can simply reset, go through your routine again, and I know you're gonna break 80 a lot more often. The fifth rule is to aim for the middle of the green more often. As I mentioned, you'll hear a lot of PGA Tour guys say, I'm playing aggressively off the tee, but I wanna play a lot more conservative into the greens. In general, I would argue that outside of 130 yards, most everyday golfers just need to be aiming for the middle of the green. Even if it's not US Open type conditions, when you're aiming for the middle of the green, you're gonna hit a lot more greens, which is going to obviously lower your scoring average. Because if you're firing at every flag and you just don't have that consistency in your swing, you're gonna have a lot of short-sighted misses. You might plug some in the bunker, so it's just gonna make the game even more difficult. What I recommend to all my mental golf coaching students is Decade Golf. This system makes it easy to figure out, should I aim for the flag or should I not? Decade Golf has absolutely transformed my game, and I've actually partnered with Scott Fawcett, the creator of Decade, to offer you a 20% coupon code. So if you want to learn Decade Golf and enroll, get 20% off your subscription by entering the code WICKEDSMART or clicking the link down in the description. But if you're not ready to invest in Decade Golf yet, simply aim for the middle of the green more often, especially outside 130 yards. You're gonna hit more greens in regulation, you won't short side yourself nearly as much, and hopefully you're gonna shoot a lot lower scores. The sixth rule is to practice your short game more often. Here's the thing, no matter how good you get, missing greens is part of golf. In fact, scratch golfers only hit about 50% of greens in regulation, while pros only hit about 67%. So needless to say, missing greens is gonna happen. But if you have a good short game, you can get it up and down and save a ton of shots. Dedicate a significant amount of your practice time to just the basics like chip shots, bunkers, pitches. Sure, you can experiment with some different flop shots and other kind of fun shots, but really stick to the basics, focus on your landing zones, and just getting some consistency in your short game is gonna have a huge impact. When you can chip it closer and you have a pre-shot putting routine like we talked about as the third rule, you're gonna make a lot more putts, you're gonna get the ball up and down a lot more often, and you're gonna have a lot more momentum through the round. The seventh rule to break 80 consistently is to not neglect the mental game. The mental game really is a sliding scale. If you're shooting in the hundreds or 120s, the mental game isn't that important. But as you get better and lower handicap, the mental game is vital to your success. Golf really is as much of a mental challenge as it is a physical one, especially as you get into tournaments or playing into some sort of competitive events. So stop neglecting the mental game. Start improving your mental game with better self-talk, better body language, and taking it one shot at a time. I find that most golfers simply time travel too often. They dwell on the past, maybe that 3-putt on the first hole. They look ahead to the future, maybe that 17th or 18th hole that's kind of scary, and it's really holding you back from success. To help you in your mental golf quest, make sure to download the Mental Golf Playbook. This is a 13-page guide I created to help you understand your mental game with proven tips so you can stay calm, play better under pressure, and hopefully have a lot more fun. To download this free guide, simply go to wickedsmartgolf.com/playbook or click the link down in the description. Follow these 7 rules and you're gonna break 80 consistently.